Hi everyone. As you can see, I've been busy putting together crumb blocks for the baby quilts that I'm making. I've decided, I've been following crumb block along to make the quilts, and I'm going to continue with that, but I'm not going to make the baby quilts in that manner. I decided that I will just do a regular quilt, doing the quilt along. But for the baby quilt, I want to make it a little different. I don't want sashings around my block. I want them all to be interchanged, and I want every block to have a saying on it from a child's book. And so this is where this next part of the video comes in. I've had several requests on how I go about putting a verse from a child's book or some words of some sort on my quilt, and my process is very simple, and so I'm going to show you how I do it. There's a million ways, I'm sure, to do this, but this is how I do it. It's very simple, and I hope you can adopt my method and try it on your own quilts, because I think it's a really nice way to add a personal touch to your quilt. So here comes the next part on how I add words to my quilt. Enjoy. So a couple of videos back, I was talking about starting a crumb block quilt to make into 2 baby quilts for some babies who are due in our family in October. And I said that I was going to put little words in my blocks, just quotes or sayings from children's books or things like that. So I have done a couple here, and I showed these on Facebook, and I got a lot of requests from people asking me how I did this. And it's really not rocket science, but I'm very happy to share my technique with you. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you could do this, but I do it just pretty plainly, I think. So I'll just get a little close up here. This is sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. That's one of them. This obviously would be for a girl's quilt. And then this one, oh, the places you will go. So if you want to just take a second here, just take a good look at the letters of these words. And the letters of these words, they're different. That's because I use 2 different fonts to do this. Now, this one, I'll just stay with this one, and I'll tell you what the font is for this later on. This one was extremely easy to stitch, and it's easy to read because the letters are quite spaced out, and in particular the A. When I just did a back stitch, the letter A comes out very well on this particular font. A piece of fuzz there. Whereas if you look here, well, it's not too bad here, but I find these letters are a little bit too close together. And so I would, if I use this font again, I don't mind the font. I don't mind the look of it. I would perhaps make it even larger, like increase the font size. But I have other examples. So these are the only 2 that I have actually stitched so far, but I'll show you some of the other ones I have. So here's one. A person's a person, no matter how small. This A is terrible. This A is great, but that A is bad. It looks like a letter H. So I would change that. I will change that. This letter A, it's supposed to be one of those curly ones, but it's supposed to be like that. But even that, when you stitch that, that's going to close up that top loop. So I would actually replace that A with an A like that. A round circle with a little catch on it. I'm learning this as I go because this was an experiment for me as well. And that N, when I go to stitch that, to me that looks more like an R. But it's just the font, the way it was printed, and I'll show you that. So I have a few more here. I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. This one is going to stitch up beautifully because the letters are nice and spaced apart. And I like the A. The A is going to... The E might be a bit of a challenge, but I think it'll be all right. And then this one is different. See? This one's different. A little magic can take you a long way. The C, I don't like. The A is fine. I like that E. That's great. That A, no way. See, this is another one of those A's with the little hook. I didn't pay attention to that when I did these, but now that I have actually stitched a couple, I am going to be taking much more attention at the A's and the E's. That looks like an E, not a C. So, you know, those are just little tips for you to learn by my mistake. Here's a different one. A little magic can take you a long way. That's the same font as the other one. And it is only with the heart that one can see rightly. Is that a rightly or a nightly? Rightly. I think this one should be all right. I don't know. The font is quite large. The A is quite large, so it might be okay. This was an experiment doing it on polka dotted material. I would probably stitch this in a very dark, maybe black or navy blue or even red. Probably red would look really good. Or black. Here's another one of these little magic. See the difference? You can read this one a little bit better than you can read that one, but it doesn't matter. The stitching is going to make it come out. Now here's one that I am stitching now. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. I won't do this font again. If I do, actually no I won't, because it's one of these like this one where everything is so close together. And I'm doing it, I'm blending two colors together. I'm doing a lime green and I think it's a pink. I'm not too happy with that one. Just like this one here. I used two different colors of green. I'm not too happy with it. I think it would have been better off with one color. So these are little tricks. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is when you do it on a piece of fabric like this, it's possible to stitch this. I would stitch this in hand because I stitch everything in hand. But put a little bit of, I put interfacing on the back of each one of these pieces just to give it a little bit of stability. It's far easier to stitch on and it will hide your mess at the back. So you're not going to see anything but what's on the front because you've got interfacing on the back. So that's another little tip for you. So I'm going to show you how I got these letters on this fabric now, okay? Give me 1 second. I have to go to the computer. Okay, so here we are at the computer and I brought up my file. I've saved all of these into a little file. These are all the ones that I have put together for my little project that I'm working on, the two little baby quilts that I want to add words. And all of these words come from children's books, all kinds of different children's books. Some are Winnie the Pooh, some are, well, they're just a mixture. I just chose the ones that had the feeling that I wanted to portray on these little blankets. So this here one, sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. This was the first one that I showed you, okay? And I'm just going to show it to you again. Oh, that's that one there. This one is called, the print is called Chalk Duster, C-H-A-L-K Duster, and it's at 26 font. And to me, it was a perfect size to stitch. Also, I like that there's quite a bit of space between the letters, and all the letters, like the O's, are nice and round. The A is very visible. It's an A. It's not, doesn't look like a figure 8. Everything on here is really easy to stitch. Even the E is nice and easy to stitch. The one above it, I'll love you forever and I'll like you for always, is also a good one. That one's called, this one here, the print is called Bradley Hand Bold, and it's at 26 font as well. I could change that to a 28 font very easily and still be able to have that. See, it's still no larger than this one was. So it would still fit very nicely on a piece of fabric, and actually it would be even easier to stitch, and I actually like it a little bit bigger, so I might just leave that one and resave this. So this one now is at 28 font. This one here is at 26 font. But see, it didn't increase the size very much, but the readability is a lot better, as is the stitchability is a lot better. Now this third one, I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. You might find that kind of an odd one for a children's blanket, however, or a baby blanket. However, both babies are due in October, so that's why I chose this one. This one is a Bradley hand bold. It's like the one on top, and this is at a 26 font. I'm going to change this one to 28 font as well for future ones, because it's going to be much nicer to read and much nicer to stitch. This one here, promise me that you'll always remember that you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. I love that. This is called Andale Mono, and it's at 24 font. So the font is smaller than all of these, but because of the way it's more like a typewriter print, it's more readable. So you can, it's fine to leave it at a 24. It'll stitch up really easily. I like that the E's are E's. Where's the A? That A, this is the A that I always have problems stitching when it's small, because this top little, I wish I had a real pointer here. This top part of the A closes when you add thread to it. So what I might do is, when I'm copying this one out on fabric, I might change these two A's. I might change out all the A's. Everything else is fine, but this one is at 24. Let's just turn it to 26 and see what happens. Not bad. It's going to require maybe a square in the middle of something, but actually I think I would like it better at 24, this one. So I'll leave it. This one, I love you right up to the moon and back. This one is the same. No, pardon me. This one is the Bradley hand bold. Most of these are, and this is at 28 font. So this is just perfect actually to stitch. Here's one. A little magic can take you a long way. Now you saw that on some of the fabrics that I just showed you. There's the A again. To me, this A might turn out to look like an O when you stitch it. So if you see A like this, I would change it out to the round A with a little knot. Like, just take that top part off there, and then you have an A that is going to be easy to stitch and easy to read. The rest of it is fine. This one here, oh, and this one is Harrington 26. That's what this one is. A person's a person, no matter how small. That's Kuriz MT at 28. This is going to be a bad one to stitch. I can see it right now because of the A's. So you could either change your A, and it has a lot of little loopies on it. I was thinking of doing some of these little loopy things with just a French knot there. It would be an experiment on my part. I might do it, I might not, I don't know. I might just change the font completely, put it to one of those other fonts, which is easy to do. All I just do this, I highlight it, I go to, oh, it doesn't want to work on me, come on. I go to, what was that one I like so much? Bradley, where is it? Bradley hand, there, it's better. And that's at 28 font. So this one here, this is the one that I did with the astronaut, the one that's on the astronaut one. Now this is called Noteworthy Light, and it's at 28 font. The only thing I really don't care about this is the E, and I might redo it again, but also it could go a little longer or wider. Now that's too big. There's no, after 28, there isn't anything till 36. So actually, I think 28 would, but I would just change the A. That's what I would do. So you get your words, you put them in whatever program you're going to use. You fool around with them, get the font you like, get the print you like. I would recommend don't go under 26 font. Stay at 26. You can go over that, but I wouldn't go any less than that, because you're not going to be able to stitch it. It's going to be too small. So you save it as your file and you print it out, and then you take it to our next step. So the next thing you do is you find yourself a window. Now, it's best to do this on a south-facing window if you can, or a window that's getting direct light. So if you have an east-facing window in the morning, perfect. South-facing window in the afternoon, perfect. West-facing window in the evening, perfect. You got my drift. This window is north-facing, and it's not right now at this time of the day. There's not a whole lot of light coming through here, so you're not going to, it's not going to be as bright, but I can actually see this with my naked eye. I can see this a lot better than what it's showing up here on the camera. So you tape your paper to the window, you get your fabric like I have here, and you tape it over top. Now I don't have this taped tightly, but you can see, I hope, how well that is. You can read that very carefully. So you take your pencil, I use just a regular lead pencil, and I just go over it letter by letter all the way to the end, and you take it off, and there you have your piece that's ready for stitching. And that is my process. It's as simple as that. So I hope you give this a try. It's easy to do. It doesn't cost you anything except a little printer ink. And will you look at that snow? This was the result of our last blizzard just this weekend. More snow. Anyway, we won't look at that anymore. So I hope this little mini tutorial, or whatever you call it, helped you. Give it a try, and don't forget to be careful of watch your letters. Look at the letters individually very carefully. Pick ones that look like they're going to be easy to stitch. And when you go to stitch, I use a really tiny needle that's very fine. Don't forget to put your interfacing on the back to give your piece of material stability, so you can use it. You can, if you want to make a big piece of fabric and put it in a hoop, you can go ahead and do that. I don't like using hoops. I would rather stitch in hand, so that's why I do it. So I hope this helped you, and good luck with your progress, and let me know how it goes for you. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.